Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Trek Commuter Pro RT headlight. When it comes to cycling lights, most people assume brighter is better. The reality is that bright lights can often be blinding for oncoming riders and traffic, which is why Europe has adopted the StVZO certification, which includes beam cutoffs. Trek's new commuter lights lack that StVZO certification, but they do offer a sharp beam cutoff, which Trek refers to as a Kindbeam. You can see an illustration of that Kindbeam here. It has a nice sharp cutoff that doesn't blind people above the height of the light. Trek offers a more affordable version of this. We have the highest end Commuter RT Pro RT, but they also have a Comp R variation that ditches the dual LED display and the Bluetooth connectivity, but has that same reflector lens design with that beam cutoff. So you have quite a few options. In terms of packaging, you can see it's pretty nice. We have two options here. We have the standard one, and then we have the combination set, which also includes a flare RT taillight. You can see they're actually the same size, which is pretty cool, just slightly wider. You have a nice graphic on the front Trek branding on here instead of Bontrager, which is kind of interesting because the flare lights are actually branded as Bontrager currently. They may change that in the future. Illustration of the beam, some of the nice features like the daytime flash, and other specs on the side. I'll go ahead and take this out of the box. We'll focus on the headlight by itself for now. So let me take it out of the box and we'll go over the specs. So retail price on this really depends on which one you pick. This is $159. The combo set with the flare RT comes in at $209.99, so quite expensive. And then the Comp R, which is a lower output, is $69.99, which is more affordable. This is 1000 lumen, so plenty bright for on-road or off-road use. And it has, of course, their Kindbeam technology, which has this nice reflector design that really focuses the light downward. You have daytime flash mode, as well as a low-high, and in daytime flash you get up to 12-hour runtime, which should satisfy nearly any rider. What's really cool about this RT Pro variation is that you get Bluetooth connectivity to the flare RT, so you actually have one button control. You can turn on both lights at the same time and alternate the modes independently. So it's really cool, you don't have to turn them on separately. And you also get a dual battery gauge here with 5 LEDs on each side to indicate the exact battery state for each product. Inside here you have a 4800 milliamp integrated lithium ion battery, which gives you nice run times. In terms of what comes with this, you can see we get a standard instruction manual. I do recommend reading them as there's quite a few features here. Really simple packaging with just cardboard dividers. And then you have the mount. So adjustable handlebar mount. So it's tool free with a little tab and the thumb screw, along with a shim to handle different diameter handlebars. A USB-C charging cable, which is really great to see. Products are finally moving away from micro USB charging ports. And then of course the headlight itself. Now let's take a look at the weight of the light. So the headlight by itself with no mount comes in at 192, so fairly heavy for what it is. And then the adjustable handlebar mount without the shim, that comes in at 30 grams. Trek markets the Commuter Pro RT as a do-it-all front light with enough output for commuting or off-road cycling. The exterior of the light has a standard rectangular profile with what feels like metal for the main housing and then a plastic front extension. You have Trek written on the side, which is a little bit interesting. Normally it's a Bontrager product, but here they've gone with Trek. Commuter Pro RT printed on there, 1000 lumen advertised on top, and then same thing on the other side. The rear is really simple. You have an integrated 4800 milliamp lithium polymer battery, lithium ion battery, and a USB Type-C charging port right here. This charges in 5 hours from empty. And you can see a nice cover, just kind of slide it on, and then you're ready to ride again. The side, you can see you have a beveled bottom, which accommodates the mount. Very simple mounts. It's almost identical to the flare RT and other products, so you can use a lot of the existing blender adapters that go from this adapter to another GoPro or Garmin style interfaces. So a lot of options there, but you do have to buy them separately. What they do include is the handlebar mount. It's a nice tool-free design, so thumb screw on the bottom. You open it up, So really simple. Obviously, if you have a road bike or something a little sleeker, you're going to want to put this underneath your computer, which requires the blender adapter. So we do recommend investing in those. Now what's really cool about this is obviously the lens. So you can see a top mounted LED there, but when you look straight at it, there's quite a few reflectors here that really focus the light. So if I turn that on, you can see a nice sharp beam cutoff that prevents a lot of glare from compared to normal lights, which have a cone shape. So if you put it sideways, you can see most of the light is along the horizontal line, which gives you a nice sharp cutoff. And this is great to see. Most lights, in the US at least, don't really use this and go in favor of a standard cone beam, which really distributes light everywhere. You also saw these translucent orange cutouts, and that helps with side visibility. So even if the person can't see your light, they can see that orange indicator as it lights up. So nice feature. Now the big thing here is the user interface. Try to keep it pretty simple. So you have a one button interface on top with this nice glossy display. A double press turns the light on, which is a little bit unusual instead of a long hold. Then you have the LED indicators on the bottom. The left row indicates the battery status of this light. The right side has another 5 LEDs, which indicates the tail light, or if you're using this as a power bank, as you can connect that to a power bank. The power button is also backlit. Now it's not as nice as some other lights we've seen, but you can see a little LED on top. And depending on which mode you're in, it will actually show different colors. So pulsing white is daytime flash. Then you simply have the low and high. So low is just standard white, and then high would be blue. So nice feature. I'm not sure if anybody's going to remember this when you're actually riding, but it is nice to have it there. And it also will pulse blue to indicate that the Bluetooth is on. So when you first turn it on, this will pulse briefly, just like the Flare RT or Ion RT lights. Now what's really cool about this is they've kept it very simple. So 3 modes, cycle through. Now you'll notice that you have to cycle through flash, which is really annoying for nighttime riding. Something other light manufacturers avoid by using double presses. Here, they actually have a mode to disable it entirely. So with the light on, hold it for 8 seconds, and then wait for a flash. So we should see it within about 8 seconds, and then let go. Now you'll notice, if I turn the light on, I don't even have the daytime flash anymore. So it's a nice option. It's a little clunky as you have to entirely block out the mode. To re-enable it, you actually have to hold for 8 seconds again. But it's a nice way, so if you're doing nighttime riding and you remember the instructions, you can easily turn it off. And then again, if I turn it back on, now I have daytime flash. Now one of the coolest features about the light is the fact that you can do Bluetooth connectivity between this and other RT lights. Here we have the Ion, for example, but the Flare RT would make more sense here. But the procedure is the same. You can only connect one item. So you want to turn the light on, then hold the power button for 15 seconds. And remember, 8 seconds is the bypass flash. So you'll see one flash at 8. You keep holding until you get to 15 and you see another flash. Now you let go. You'll see the light is now the blue and red. And if you keep the other light near it, this should flash, as you see, which indicates it's been found. So now you have one button operation. So if I click the headlight on, you can see now the other light is also on and you have the battery status. So the 5 indicators here show up to 6 different modes. It'll go down to 1 flashing one, which gives you that extra 6 indicator. So really cool, instead of just having the green and red that you normally see with the Ion and the Flare. Now you actually have a lot more options. You have 6 different indicators. So this indicates, the left indicates the headlight, the right indicates the attached light. So to change the mode on this light, the tail light or the other paired light, you actually have to do it on its own power button. You can't do it from the headlight, which is a little bit of a downside, but you can turn them on and off at the same time. So if I want to turn it off, I don't have to go to this power button at all. So you can see it's off, turn them on. It's the same thing. So double press, slight delay, and it'll send a wake-up call to the other light. So a really cool feature, and it gives you that one button operation that we so desperately need in cycling. It's very annoying to have to turn on each light independently. Now the final feature I wanted to show, even though this video is getting a little bit long, is the fact that you can use this to power other devices. To enable that mode, you want to open up the USB port. And before you insert the cable, you want to enable the power back mode. So to do that, have the light turned off. Hold the power button for 8 seconds. You'll see a flash. So this is where it gets really confusing. 8 seconds with the light on is the bypass flash mode. With the light off, it's actually the power back mode. So you can see here, the right side is now flashing up and down, indicates the mode is on. And then we'll insert the cable. And you have the battery, the headlight battery status on the left, and then the right indicating that it is charging. So you can see, now I'm charging at standard speed. So pretty nice setup, and you can charge other devices, so you can get a lot more versatility out of the light. There's 3 different modes with the light. You have a simple low, high, and then flash. Low gives you 500 lumens, 3-hour runtime. High is 1000 with 1.5 hours. And then flash is 300 lumen with 12-hour runtime. Now daytime flash is great for daytime riding. As you can see here, the erratic flash pattern really works well and catches the eye of oncoming traffic and makes sure you're actually visible. And with the 12-hour runtime, you don't have to worry about running down the battery. Now the really big feature about this light is the pairing. So you can see here, paired with the Flare RT, you simply park your bike, turn off the headlight, and the taillight automatically turns off. A really nice, seamless experience. Just like getting in a car, you just turn off the lights. You don't have to do them individually. Then when you want to get back on the bike, you just turn on the headlight with that double press, and you're ready to ride. So great combination, and obviously the Flare RT is a really nice taillight with great long visibility. So you're really visible from high distances. Here you can see some riding footage with the headlight. So not only do you get the pairing, but you get that really nice refractor lens, which gives you that beam cutoff. It's about 2 car width, a little bit darker here on the GoPro, but in reality, it's a really nice bright light, and even low mode is more than enough. High mode is just like the high beams on your car, and it's great for darker sections of the trail where you need that extra visibility. Trek claims this is a do-everything style light with 1000 lumens, which is true. It's bright enough for gravel riding, but as with any beam cutoff style light, they're not great for really sharp corners as there's no auto leveling function, and they'll leave you with darker edges. And you can see here the flash mode is annoying, so when you're cycling through, so you do want to make sure you entirely block that for nighttime riding, or just remember to double click. It would have been nice if Trek just added a double press option instead of having to go through a full shut off of the flash mode. Now let's compare the Trek with some other lights on the market. One interesting comparison is the Topeak Power Light. Very similar form factors, and it also controls their own proprietary taillight. You see they both have the refractor style lens. What's interesting is Trek has gone with a 1-button approach with a single press to turn it on, while the Topeak has gone with 2 buttons. So you actually have a front and a rear light. So if I press the front, I can turn on the front, turn on the rear, I can turn on the rear. So it's a similar concept, but they've really made it 2 separate controls, independent of one another, and you can cycle through the modes of the taillight with the head unit. While with the Trek, you actually have to go to your taillight and then switch modes. I prefer the Trek approach, and I also like the battery display. You can see is much better. You have 5 LEDs for the headlight and taillight, while the Topeak has 5 total LEDs for both the headlight and taillight. So 1 for the taillight, 4 for the headlight, and you can see the design on this. It's very misleading, so if I look at it at different angles, it's kind of recessed down there. So it's hard to tell where they are, while the Trek is more obvious. You have better viewing angles. The connectivity is also nicer, in my opinion, as you can turn off the headlight and taillight together, while the Topeak, you have to do them one by one, and it has a standby mode. So when I shut this off, this blue light remains on until you actually disconnect Bluetooth. So it slowly drains the battery, while the Trek gives you full shut off. There are also other beam cutoff style lights on the market. This is the Outbound Detour. So nice wide beam, and you can see anti-glare design. It's a lot simpler. You don't have any Bluetooth connectivity, and you have a compact, wider profile versus the long cylindrical body. Light Skin also has a very cool NACA headlight. So very expensive, but it has a projector lens. And what this means is you get that very sharp beam cutoff. So nice to see, and you can see a better light pattern than the Trek, which has a refractor style. So you have artifacts here, while with the StVZO rated NACA, you get a very sharp one. This is very expensive, and because it is StVZO rated, you have no flash modes, and it has a simple GoPro style attachment for underneath mounting. Compared to standard lights, The Trek has a much more friendly beam. You can see the Magicshine RN1500, a lot of glare here, even with these little soft beam cutoffs. So it has these little lines here that help diffuse it. But you can see the beam pattern. It's a standard cone with a little bit of extra underneath to kind of diffuse the light downward. It is a lot cheaper though. You don't have the Bluetooth connectivity, simple battery status indicator, and a brighter light. So if you're looking for something more affordable, Magishine's a better option. It also has a standard Garmin attachment rather than the blender style mounts. If you're looking for something with replaceable batteries, I always like to recommend Phoenix. This is the BC21R V3, and you can see it's a flashlight designed for bike mounting. So you have a special mount, adapters to GoPro, USB Type-C, basic beam, so just standard cone. But it's a lot more affordable, and you get a replaceable generic battery. So you can actually swap this out. So if you're doing longer rides, or in 5 or 10 years, you can always keep servicing this light, while these higher tech ones you end up kind of just throwing away. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the Trek Commuter Pro RT. What we like about it is that you have a sharp beam cutoff. So even though you have 1,000 lumens, you're not blinding oncoming traffic. Also with the pairing setup, you can have one button control for the headlight and taillight, which means you just jump on the bike, turn on the headlight, have the taillight automatically turn on, and then when you're done riding, you can turn them off with the same button. So really nice, it makes it a lot more seamless. You also get a dual 6-level battery status indicator, which is a really nice feature, so you have a ton of granularity for the status of your headlight and taillight, instead of even having to look for a low battery status light or just having to guess. The main negatives with this setup is the fact that it is very expensive. Even the headlight alone at $160 is expensive for a 1,000 lumen light. And you do have to buy an optional blender mount if you want to mount this underneath a GPS computer, which is really the cleanest way to set this up. And most surprisingly of all, this headlight is only IPX4 rated, which means this is not really well suited for heavy rains. And the rain cover, the little gasket over the USB port, is a little bit finicky, so you have to really make sure that's flush to avoid getting water damage on the headlight. Taking everything into account, we'd give the Commuter Pro a 9.1 out of 10. It's a nice one-button light connectivity. It gives you a lot of smart features combined with a sharp, crisp beam cutoff. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as on Instagram at thesweetcyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.